Hello, everyone. All right. Can everyone hear me? Okay, so for those who know Duncan Cooper, he do seminars, webinars, sorry, pretty much, I think 2 to 2 days. So Monday, Wednesday and Friday, something like that, or Tuesday and Thursday and Sunday, something like that. And he's more towards a technical perspective on the market. So it means that he draw trend lines, you know, higher highs, lower highs, higher lows, and Fibonacci levels, support and resistances, demand, order blocks, imbalance, and all of those types of things. I'm a little bit more different towards the analysis. We will be using technical, but on a very basic way, I would say, because on my view, the market moves as a fundamental aspect. So it means that basically we're trading Forex, right? So we're trading one economy against another economy. So we are trading Australia economy against Swiss economy, right? Switzerland economy. So we have to figure out which one is the stronger and which one is the weakest. So if we can figure out those two, then we have a trade, or we can either long it AUDCHF, or we can either short it. Why? Because one currency is weaker than another, and so on, so on. So when we have those relevant aspects towards our analysis, then we start to building something systematic that can be repeatable every time that you want to place a new trade. All right, so this is pretty much what I will be doing every Tuesday from now on, 6 to 7. We'll, you know, you guys know how to get the link because you all got it, the link, so you all here. But you know, if you have someone that you want them to join, you can ask them to register under the ACY website, and then they can join us as well. I will, in the last 10 minutes of the meeting, I'll allow you to ask me any questions through the chat. Right. So if you have any questions through the chat, if you have any questions for me, you can send me these questions through the chat, and I will be interactively looking at it every time I have someone, you know, sending me a message, because I have the chat opening on my left screen. Right. All right. So let's get started. Let's talk about US dollar first. Right. What are my view for the US dollar for the next week? So from today to Friday. Well, as we can see here, last week we did had a very good start on US dollar. So 14th of August, right, all the way to Friday. It was somewhere here. Yeah, here. So we did have a movement up, you know, very steady movement. This is an index, so US dollar index. We did have a movement up, down, so a very trendy market last week, but it's still a very strong dollar, right? So there are a few, you know, there are a few things why this US dollar was so strong last week, due to number of factors, including you know, strong economic data that we had last week, hawkish comments from the federal from the FOMC, so from the Federal Open Market Committee. We did have as well, of course, US dollar as a safe haven. So there are a lot of global uncertainty at the moment. So we are having US dollar you know, giving the global traders, the global investors, as a safe haven currency. So it is attracting demand towards US dollar. And this, of course, leads a strong US dollar for the last week. You know, we did as well have the retail sales coming stronger than expected. We had an increase by 0.8% in July. So it beat the expectations of 0.5. That was the consensus. And you know, this is the largest increase in retail sales since March. So this was very good for US dollar, right? So let me see if I can just open the economic calendar here so we can, you know, it's a bit better. So for those who don't know, we have our own economic calendar. So it's, you can just type it up, finlogics.com. So you can just type finlogics.com and you will come and go to calendar, economic calendar. And then you can change, you know, basically same as, I don't know which one you guys use. You can maybe using Forex Factor, you can maybe using invest.com. You can basically do the exactly same thing as you do there. So let's select last week so we can analyze those data that I've just mentioned. So we had the retail sales coming higher than expected, right? So on Tuesday, the consensus was at 0.4%, and it came 0.7% month over month. And of course, the year over year as well come higher than expected. And these show us that, you know, people continues to buy things on US. So all of these things that are going throughout the US dollar, sorry, the US economy, that they're trying to cool down the economy, they're trying to stop people to spend money on the economy, it's sort of not working because we just had the numbers out, and it's since March is the highest number as we were expecting. So it shows us that they're doing the job. Of course, they're raising rates. You know, inflation keeps higher at US, but people keep spending. So there will be a time that inflation will have to come up again, because people could keep spending money and not saving it, right? So this is how it works, and this shows to the market that if people keep spending, inflation will go up eventually. Then the FOMC, the Federal Open Market Committee, we have to come and raise the rates again. And this will lead to a stronger US dollar as well, right? So last week was pretty much about this. We had as well the unemployment, right? So let me show you here. Unemployment rate. Oopsie, sorry, that's Australia. Wrong click. Oh, just a moment. So we had unemployment claims falling to 52 year low. And this, of course, is really good for the economy, right? We don't even have to touch base on that because pretty much people still having jobs. So people getting jobs on US amid of those. Well, people think that we'll have a recession on US, and you know, people think the US may be on a recession already. But it's not showing this. So people are getting jobs, people are spending money, and the Fed will have to do something. The Fed will continue to raise rates. In my opinion, we may have another raise this year, right? And then we see how it goes next year. But I don't think they will cut rates. There's a few economists are saying around the globe. All right, so the FOMC minutes came in last week as well. It was pretty, let's say, hawkish. But they commented as well that they are data dependent, right? What does that mean is that they could pause, right? They could pause, as I just say, but they won't be cutting. They need data to take approach now to the market. So if I just mentioned, you know, we have retail sales coming higher than expected. We have people getting employed, so unemployed coming lower than expected. All of those types of things will have something to do with the interest rates. All right, so my view, let's come back here to, so my view to US dollar, it's that we still have a bit of room to go this week. I'm looking to the 104. Sorry, so let me 104. I'm looking towards this area here. Not only me, but a few institutions as well. if we, if we look at the market at the moment, they are on the top. Yes, we do have a top here. And I think that we have, I think it's tomorrow, if I'm not wrong, on Australia time, 10:30, we have manufacturing and services PMI for US. So that would be the push. If we keep on a strong dollar, that would be the push towards even stronger US dollar, right? So my take would be, yes, we did have a rally last week. We are coming back down, maybe towards this area here, maximum, right? Because we have a sort of a support here. All right, so maybe we can bounce back on this area, and then we can come up towards 104. All right. So that would be my expectations for the US dollar. So yes, I do have a bullish view towards US at the moment, but still very data dependent, because if the services PMI this week comes weaker than expected, then my view would change to a bearish towards US dollar. But in overall, yes, I do keep I would say I have a short-term preference to the upside. That would be the right word. Okay. Right. Let's talk about the euro now. Does anyone trading euro dollar at the moment? You don't have any trades there? I have a very interesting view on euro dollar actually. So my view on Europe is bearish at the moment, and as you already know, I've just mentioned, my short-term, preference is to the upside on US dollar. So of course we're looking to euro dollar short, right? I would be willing to take these lows here, right? Just a moment. I would be willing to take these lows soon, all right, very soon. I think the market is only waiting for the PMIs on US, and we would be ready to come lower here, right? So we did last week, had a massive down pressure on the market. We started this week on a right foot. We're coming back higher, but then I think it's not very, let's say, realistic, this move to the upside, and we can definitely take these lows. And my target would be around 108. So let me set these here just a moment. 108, right? My first target would be 108, and then we see how the market interacts on this level and what the fundamentals are saying to us, and then we could change something. But anyway, so basically the euro index, the EXY, close to 1% of its value. So it lost 1% of its value last week. The main point on Europe right now, it's the CPI, right? So people are waiting for the CPI, because last ECB meeting, Lagarde came to the media, and she didn't surprise, I would say, because most of the people were already expecting it, but she mentioned multiple times that she is data dependent towards monetary policy. So what does that mean? What monetary policy means? Well, basically, she's taking a data dependent approach towards increasing interest rates or decreasing interest rates or pausing interest rates. Right. So if she says that, if she see that the CPI on Europe is going higher than expected and higher than the central bank predicted, than the ECB predicted, then they will continue to raise rates. That I think it's highly improbable, but we do have another raise, of course, on the table, I would say, and then we would pause, right? So at the moment, as I've just mentioned, I'm more towards a stronger US dollar than a stronger euro. So I'm preferably selling euro dollar on the short term, right? First towards 108, and then we see what we do. Another thing is that the PMI, on the euro on this week should should solidify, I would say, the lack of the strength on the euro, because the euro is a very poor currency at the moment. They are not having much strength towards the market. We're going to discuss a bit afterwards after we go to other currencies, but at the moment, euro it's not a very good performer, right? So we may expect a downside on the market for Europe. As well, the ECB, as already mentioned, is data dependent. So we have to check what's going to happen on the next meeting to take further decision towards the euro dollar. But anyways, my view on euro, it's more towards a neutral to bearish, more bearish than neutral, but still I'm a little bit data dependent, plus bearish on the euro. Anyways, I would prefer to trade, okay, euro. If you want to trade short euros, I would prefer to trade with a stronger economy. That would be the Swiss franc. So if we look euro CHF, just a moment, let me open it. There we go. So we can see that, we are on a consolidation phase of the market. And if we get the chance, I'm not saying that we will get the chance, but if we get the chance to grab some higher highs on this point of the consolidation, I would be looking to short it without a problem, because, I'm going to talk about Swiss. I think I'm going to talk about Swiss right now. So it makes more sense. The CHF, I think it's the strongest currency at the moment, because it has a stable economy, first of all. It has a low inflation. We have a very low inflation. It's the first currency to achieve, the first country to achieve 2% inflation around the G10 economy. So around New Zealand, around Australia, Europe, UK, US, so on, so on. So they are on a very good economic pace. And I think they will continue to do it. And this, of course, attracts FDIs, foreign direct investors. It attracts people wanting to put their money there as a safe haven. CHF has a safe haven status already for a long time. As I've just mentioned, the Swiss is one of the most stable economy at the moment in the world, and they have a very low level of debt as well, so they don't have to fight against debt, so they're fine. But I would say if you want a short euro dollar, I would prefer to short euro CHF instead. I think there's a better risk return on the table than the euro dollar. Yes, euro dollar can go further down. I agree. But I guess euro CHF has the best return, right? So overall, in my book, I would say the CHF remains a favorable long currency for me, and I believe it will continue to be strong in the coming months, probably into next 2 to 3 months, as the whole global economy faces a few headwinds. So that would be my take on CHF. Now, let's talk about Australia. Is anyone here from Australia? Just put your hands up. Let me see if anybody here from Australia. Interesting to know. Okay. All right, let's go. I have a position open since, I don't know since when. That was a long time ago already. But yeah, since there, I believed on the weaker Australian dollar. It's sad to talk about that because, once you live in Australia, you want the economy to go well, you want the country to perform well. But it seems like we are not on a very good pace of the economy. First of all, we have high interest rates. Yes, I know that interest rates are coming lower. People are still thinking that, it's a good thing. Interest rates are coming lower, but we are, once you think about it, like what's the target of the RBA, the Reserve Bank of Australia? It's 2 to 3%, right? And right now we are double it. So it's not good, right? If it was good, no one would be worrying about it, raising rates and mortgages and so on. So it's not that good, and it is damaging the currency as well, because once you think about like, okay, so if the inflation is coming down, that's something good, but it's too higher. The central bank has to fight the inflation, continually fight the inflation. So what they would do, they will raise rates, right? But if the inflation is coming down, they don't have to raise rates on the fast pace as they had to raise before when inflation was at 6% at the peak, right? So investors are looking towards it and they're thinking, okay, wait a minute. So inflation is coming slowly down, right? They will pause, they will continue to pause, and they will continue to use the narrative that they need more time to evaluate the situation of the economy. But when you stop and real think about it, they're just pausing because they need to pause. Because if they continue to raise rates, they will, they will break the economy. So there are only two ways for the RBA at the moment. Either they continue to pause until next year, or they cut rates. But to cut rates at the moment is too soon. It's too soon because we see two digits above what the RBA target of inflation is. So we need to keep lowering the inflation first, so then we can do the first cut, because people think, oh my God, first cut will happen tomorrow. No, it won't. It will take time. I can guarantee you that. And that's the thing. Like RBA is having a hawkish rhetoric, but it's not working. The market's already feeling it. Well, another thing that we can't forget to see it is last week was very impactful for the Australian dollar, as we can see here. But it leads towards the China as well, right? So the China economy is not doing very well, and it's affecting Australian dollar, of course, right? Because we do have tradings between China and Australia. So if we continue to see Chinese economy getting weaker and weaker, we can continue looking to short Australian dollar, right? What would be my preferable call on AUD? Well, again, US dollar, I still bullish, but neutral to bullish, right? As I just mentioned. Euro AUD, I wouldn't touch, right? Because are two very, well, I would say Euro is okay to bearish, but AUD is too bearish for me, so I wouldn't trade Euro AUD even on short. I would just leave it. I would trade AUDCHF, right? Again, AUDCHF. Why AUDCHF? Because CHF is the strongest, and for me, at this moment, would be a nice short position, right? So, I'm not saying for everyone to short it, just, to make very clear here. I'm just saying that my setup, it's basically when I see those consolidation box, when we're having here, it always gives us a few consolidation boxes, and I try to look to sell positions, or, it just depends if I'm looking to short or enter, short or long. I'm looking to short around these levels here as well, on the mid of the range, and as well once it breaks down here and it comes to a retest, right? But of course, I'm not going to be selling it crazy. I'm going to risk 1% of my capital. I'm going to look to 0.33% selling here, 0.33% selling here, and then afterwards I will wait and sell at another 0.33%. Where are my levels? Well, I'm hoping that we can get a push as we did last week. All right, so I'm looking towards this. Oops, sorry, not this. I don't want this. I don't know why I took this. I want this. So we are looking towards here. We just put a expansion Fibonacci. We may be looking towards the 61 or the 100, right? So if you can get a push towards here, would be good. 700 points, so 70 pips. But if we can get a push towards here, would be even better, 118 pips, right? 1,186 points. So that would be my take for AUD. I would pair it with AUDCHF at the moment. All right, so very bearish on AUD for me. Next, let's talk about New Zealand, as we are on the oceans of Asia at the moment. So let's go for NZDUSD. NZDUSD. Someone sent me a question. I'm just going to answer. I'm going to finish this one, and then I'm going to answer Steve. Thanks for the question, actually, Steve. Steve has asked me about the Chinese building firms in trouble. What are my thoughts? Just gonna go for the New Zealand one, and I will get back on this one. But yeah, it's very interesting, very interesting. Okay, so the New Zealand dollar, you know, it of course, if we just see it here, I don't know if you would look to buy NZD at the moment. Right, we're having, well, from the top to the bottom, we have a 5,000 points decline, so 517 pips. So I wouldn't call it a bottom here. And that's one thing, you know, I would like to teach you guys. Trade with the trend. Never go against it. And never try to predict a move that haven't happened yet. Try to analyze the economy, see what's happening, and see if it's strong or not. Like as we're just doing, it's much simpler doing this way. Then try to predict what level is what level. So I'm predicting that this we respect, or I'm predicting that we respect. I'm not saying that it won't, but I'm saying it that it's easier to analyze the whole economy and pick the weakest currency against the strongest currency than, you know, try to do something that it's out of context, I would say. All right. So anyways, so I would say yes, we can still have a bit of retracement towards this area here. Let me just draw a box again so you guys can see. So see, there's a few short good positions here. There's another. Well, we could short it here because it is retesting this box, I would say. But I keep believing that we can come a bit higher. Let me go for a lower time frame here, pretty quick. Yeah, I guess we can, you know, come somewhere on the mid of this range and do something here. And then we can, oopsie, where is it? Here. And then we can keep going lower this week. The market is already expecting. We had a huge move last time. Yesterday. But I can sort of feel that the market is already expecting for tomorrow CPI. PMIs for US on USD pairs. So I would wait towards this data to place more orders on the market, right? Until there, I wouldn't trade much. Anyways, so as I've just mentioned, a few technical retracements are likely to occur at this point, because as we just, you know, rally down 5,000 points. But as I've just mentioned as well, I don't recommend to buy those retracements because the NZD, it's fundamentally very heavy bearish. As well, it's a commodity linked currency, and the recent declines on commodity, you know, prices is weighting on the currency very well, very strong. Sorry, and you know, instead of trying to buy it, because yes, we may have a few upside movements on NZDUSD, I would be looking for short entries on those retracements. All right, so I would switch my strategy of trying to find the bottom, but accumulating a few short positions on NZD, all right, especially, of course, NZDCHF. You know, I would say it would be good to have a few economic data better than expected for New Zealand, because it could, it could trigger further opportunities entry for us on the market. So let's go for NZDCHF. Yeah, I know, right? Everything against CHF. Yeah, well, basically, as I've just mentioned, is the strongest currency. So we have to sort of go for it. Anyways, yeah, we do have a little box here. I would say it's a bit premature to sell it on this point. I would wait on a bit of a pullback towards these areas here, and then I would short it. Anyway, so yeah, talking about the a few reasons why I'm bearish on the New Zealand dollar. The RBNZ is expected to cut interest rates in the near future, so that's just the first thing. Second, the commodity prices are declining, so and New Zealand dollar is a commodity linked currency. Second, the NZD is overvalued, based on economic fundamentals, and that would be it for New Zealand. I think, because don't have much to talk about New Zealand. I think I'm very, very bearish towards this currency, unfortunately, the Kiwi dollar. All right, so let's go for the question. Good afternoon. Chinese building firms in trouble. What are your thoughts? Cheese. All right, thanks again, Steve. Yes, I've just seen a video today that one of the biggest building companies, real estate companies on China has been proclaimed themselves as we are broke. So it is a big problem, because when you think it's not only about real estate, China is a big take on oil as well. All right. China is the second, it's the second, just losing for US consumption of oil around the globe, right? So who is producing oil for, well, most of everyone? Canada. Canada is the biggest producer as well. So China buys oil from Canada, and if they can't buy oil from Canada, Canada will be bad as well, would be running on default, as we say, for Canadian dollars, right? So China and Canada, they're very linked. But coming back for building firms, I think this will 100% affect the Chinese yen, as well the Japanese yen. I've been noticing that USJPY and USDJPY and USDCNH or CNY, just depends on how it's your ticket, but the same currency. Better USD Japanese yen against USD Chinese yen. It's very similar, right? So they are very, very similar towards the chart. So when you look USDJPY and USDCHN, you can see that what one does, the other one does very similar. So I would say that those two currencies, Japanese yen and Chinese yen, are both short positions for me. Unfortunately, we are having this. I don't think it will last for longer, to be honest. But at the moment, I'm pretty bearish on Chinese market. So an emerging market, one of the biggest emerging markets at the moment. Did I answer your question? All good? Thank you. Now let's go. So we talk about CHF, we talk about US dollar, we talk about euro, we talk about New Zealand dollar, Australian dollar. Let's talk about JPY now, right? Where is USDJPY? This one is so interesting. If we look at 1 hour, what is happening, right? So we had a huge, this is huge upside move, nearly 10,000 points, right? So nearly 1,000 pips. This is a lot of movement for USDJPY, and it comes to a very weak Japanese yen. When we have in last year, sorry, it was last year. I think it was last year. Let me check here, just on the daily chart. Yeah, it was somewhere here. On those levels, we have the intervention, and we had an intervention. Yeah, exactly here. We had the intervention, and in one day, you know, the market moved 6,300 points, so 630 pips. Now people are thinking that the Japanese central bank, the BOJ, the Bank of Japan, will do the same. They will come and they will intervene towards the monetary policy, and this will lead towards a similar move, you know, a bearish move on USDJPY. To be very honest, I don't think it will happen. Yes, it will happen, but not soon. I guess it is a big opportunity once it happens, because we can have a huge short position on USDJPY, or we can have huge positions on CHFJPY. Anyways, that will be a very, very big position. But I don't think it's anytime soon. There are a few things, right? I have my notes here, actually. Let me take my notes from JPY. So the situation remains unchanged for the Japanese yen. There is no reason for a shift in the monetary policy. There are a few things that are influencing it. Well, basically, the interest rates are currently the primary market influence for the BOJ, right? So the currency remains very weak. Also, it have been a few retracements over the past 2 trading days, as we can see it here. If I go for 1 hour, sorry, yeah, from the past 2 trading days, because it was Monday. You know, I think this is either people taking profit from these huge positions that they've building up, you know, here, all of these patterns, all of these market structures. I guess they're taking a bit of profit just because, as the market are talking about, you know, intervention, and they may be scary, like, oh my God, okay, let me get off from this position because it's on the level that they say that the intervention will occur right now. I don't think it will happen, as I've just mentioned. I guess I'm still a buyer on USDJPY. I would keep buying USDJPY until 147, right? Oopsie. If we go 147, oopsie, 147. There we go. All right, so this would be my first target. Then, if that's a big if, because it's a big move. If everything continues the same and US dollar continues to be bullish, I would go for 150. Right? I know it's a huge target, but I would aim for 150. Right? So 150 around here. Again, it's a big if. We have this level here. I'm quite sure we're gonna hit soon, pretty soon. I'm looking again to buy USDJPY, but especially on those levels here, around those levels. So if we you know, around those levels here, this would be a very good trade actually. If we can get a retracement towards this area, we could, you know, come something like that, and boom, right? Yeah, that would be my preferable. But again, USD is very data dependent. So on this market, USD and JPY together, it doesn't seem right for me. So again, I would long, you can already expect CHFJPY. All right, so if we come, oopsie, if he comes here very quick, we can see that this has a 4 hour, yeah. This would be my level to long it. I nearly got a position on, but unfortunately we didn't step in on this area that I was considering to buy, so I just didn't. But yeah, I guess if we come back all the way down here, we can buy it again towards towards 168.5 maybe. Let me put it here. 168.5. 168.5. There you go. Yeah, around this. Yeah, that would be very good. Okay, so again, the BOJ has been printing money as well, and buying the assets. They're trying to do this because they want to stimulate the economy. But it haven't been enough for the JPY. We can see that it's a very weak at the moment. So the board is trying to do everything they possibly can. Well, they possibly can. They can't raise rates. They can't take the monetary policy from negative to positive in a snap of fingers, because this would hurt a lot the economy. So, but they are not crazy to do that, of course. So they are not just out of mind to do this. So they're trying to all the other things as they can to try to re-strengthen the JPY, I would say. All right. Canada, already spoke about it. The CAD is a very heavy commodity linked currency. So it's very sensitive to changes on the price oil. It's very sensitive to changes on the US dollar, because it's very linked. As the two currencies, they're often inversely correlated. And the Canadian economy is facing a few challenges at the moment, so including high inflation, they have in slowing growth, and a few trading tensions that I've just mentioned, with China is one of those. So for me, I keep sort of in a very short term bearish, but I guess all of these things that I've just mentioned will sort it out soon, probably in the next couple months, and we can take a bullish position on the CAD. But we had the last week's CPI for the CAD. It was expected to boost the currency, but it failed to have a significant impact on the currency prices. For a number of factors, including the recent poor economic data from China, from Canada. So the CPI, yeah, it didn't have a very big impact, but the slowdown on the growth of Canada, it had a really big impact. So towards CAD, I'm more towards bearish at the moment, but yes, we can sort it out very soon and have a bullish aspect towards it in the couple to 3 months, I would say. I would trade, well, maybe CAD CHF. I'm not too keen actually to do this, but yeah, no, I wouldn't touch at the moment. I would leave it as it is. I'm not gonna tell you guys to do something here, because I just don't think it's a good opportunity going on at the moment. All right. So we talk about Euro, we talk about US, we talk about JPY. That's good. We talk about CAD, CHF, AUD, New Zealand dollar. The only one left right now is the pound, it's the GBP. Why did I left this one last? Well, it's such a headache what's happening at the moment there, that you can't predict what's going to be the next move, right? If we open GBPUSD, it's just ranging for ages now. It's not doing anything, it's going ups and down, ups and down, ups and downs. When you think something will happen, this candle here, I remember it was like 10:30 in the night, something like that. I was watching it. I was like, oh yeah, maybe it's going to be a good long position now. But it just flicked us up, and then it came hugely down as well. And then yesterday we had, not yesterday, sorry, Thursday, we had the retail sales there. It came lower than expected, so it induced a bit of downward pressure. Again, it didn't done anything to the market. Markets you buying pound. The volatility has been insanely crazy on the pound, to be honest. But the overall picture on the UK economy is to be honest, is far away from worse. It's definitely dead, to be honest, because inflation is so high that the Bank of England, they they are in a point that they can't raise, because if they raise too much, they will I can't say this word, but you know what I mean. They will on the economy. And if they start to cut, it's too soon. It's too soon to cut. It's in like they can't as well. So they have to pause and they have to maintain a hawkish stance towards the media. So then the investors think that they are doing something, but in the end, they're not doing anything. All right, so in the over, I'm pretty bearish on the pound, but I just can't find an opportunity to get bearish on GBP at the moment. Come here, AUDCHF. Again, we can come a bit higher towards these levels here, and then we can go lower, right? And as well, NZDCHF. That would be my preferable. Oh, sorry, not NZDCHF, CHFJPY for long position here. So if we come lower on this level, we can long CHFJPY. For the week would be it. So I'm bearish on AUD, I'm bearish on CAD, I'm bearish on Euro, I'm bearish on Pound, New Zealand dollar. Right, so these 5 currencies. And JPY as well, right? Of course, I can't forget these. And I'm very long on CHF, and that would be it. US dollar, maybe, just depending how the PMI comes tomorrow. All right. Do you guys want me to do any analysis for you, or we still have 5 minutes? Just put your hands up if you want something. Very informative. Thanks, Tivo. Yes, sorry, I can't pronounce your name. Yasir, go ahead. Tal, yes. You guys can send the messages on the chat. That would be good. GBP, JPY, not a problem. GBP, JPY for me, against JPY, I would long it. Let me open it. There you go. Okay, let me put in a 30 minutes chart here. Gold. Okay, gold for me, it's short at the moment. On Friday there is a bullish pitch. I feel the US dollar gets stronger. Is it so? Yes, I agree with you, Santi. I agree with you. I even had I don't know if you guys know, but let me do it pretty quick here. ACY. Just a second, guys. Let me show it very, very quick. So if you come to ACY, right, and if you come to learn market analysis, and then you click on my name, every week, beginning of the week, I do a weekly recap. All right, so if you click on here, you can see all of everything that I've just mentioned, a little bit more in depth on here, and what was the bullish and bearish news from the last week. So if you lost something, if you was busy during the last week or something like that, and you lost a few information on the market, then you can just come to this every Monday and refresh what just happened on the market, right? So everything is here. Even the FinLogix charts. So if you click on FinLogix charts, you can use our chart or calendar, the news, and so on, right? Anyways, so yeah, let's come back here. So GBP JPY, let's go first. Yeah, GBP JPY, it's let me have a look here. I feel like longing it, but there's no where to long it at the moment. Let me go for 15 minutes. Yeah, I guess we can definitely come to those levels somewhere around here, because we have a box. So, market, we have to unfold those positions. We are having a something like that. Yeah. And then afterwards we come here. We would have to check on the economic events from pound to see if we can rally up. But I guess we can go down below these levels. Let me check another thing here on my other screen. Let me check my range. Sorry. Yeah. I guess. Oh yeah. I guess we can come to these levels, and then afterwards we can maybe go higher back to here. I think it would be much. That would be the consolidation for the week. Yeah. Gold. It's not here. Let me grab it. Like, okay. Oh, that's a nice thing here. Okay. Again, we have this chart. Sorry, we have this box. As I've just mentioned, commodities not doing great at the moment. So I do think we can have even lower numbers on gold, right? So for those, let me check something here on my other screen. Checks in here. Yeah, I guess let's go for lower time frames. I guess we're gonna be around boating at the moment, but we maybe can have another push lower somewhere here. And if we break these lows, sorry, we can still go all the way down here. All right, so that would be it for gold at the moment. Very influenced by US market. Very influential for Canadian dollars, very influential for Australia, China. So just pay attention on those 4 economies, on trading commodities, and as well pay attention on commodities when you're trading those other 4 currencies, and I think you should be good. And yes, next question, Senti. On Friday, there's a Paul's speech. I feel the US dollar gets stronger. Yes, I do agree with you, man. This is why I even have this little beautiful draw here. I think we can still get lower, and then afterwards can go to 104. All right, all good, guys. I think that's time. Anybody question? So thanks for coming. Thanks, buddy. No problem, Senti. Thanks, guys. All right, have everyone a good week, and see you next Tuesday. All right, so we're gonna be at the same spot next Tuesday. All right, guys.